Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melissa, but if you are one of my bright subscribers and you've been following along, then you know that you can call me Missy. Just a few days ago, I was telling my sister how great it feels, that I think I've figured out my skin and it has been pretty clear for a little while, and then this happened. I think it might be stress related or hormone related or sunscreen related. I have been stressed, and so today we're taking it easy, we're taking it breezy, and we're gonna be working on some window treatments. Several weeks back, I got these sheets at a thrift store. And I told my son that I would make curtains for his room. That's a really simple project. It's something I've done before, not a big deal. The thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is what I have going on in my closet. For a while now, I have been solving the issue of street light coming in through my closet window by throwing clothing up on the window. A week or two ago, I was at Walmart. There were a lot of these, and they were all priced at $3. So I had to get one, and then I brought it home and I realized it was too small. So I took it back to Walmart and then picked up this one. But I didn't realize when I picked up this one that it is light filtering and not blackout like the other one that I had picked up that was too small. I didn't want to re-return, so I have this and I have an idea. Hopefully I can paint this, maybe have a little bit of that translucency still, but have a bit of a stained glass effect, something that'll just be even more, I don't know, interesting. I have no idea how this project's going to turn out, and if it sucks, I can throw it out because it was $3. Hopefully, if the project doesn't turn out, then this video is still entertaining for you all. So, I am going to start with the project that I know how to do and I'm not worried about, and we'll move on from there. Let's get to work. Things started out pretty easy and peacefully as I was seam ripping this blackout curtain that I'd purchased. But then, shots were fired, but I persevered. Good golly, it was an agent of chaos. All was quiet for a while after that until I finished my seam ripping. Then, they struck one more time. My bravery paid off, and now I was ready for the next step in the process. I began by folding the sheet in half lengthwise, and then I folded in the bottom part of the sheet, and I tried to make sure that it was folded evenly across the bottom edge so that it would all be the same length across. This took quite a while. I fiddled with it for probably longer than it needed to be fiddled with, because in the end I don't think it was all that even across the bottom after all. But the finished curtain ended up looking fine, so it all worked out. I folded and tossed the excess fabric to the side and then went ahead and cut the sheet into 2 curtain panels. That was also tossed to the side as I cut the blackout panel in half. Hello, it is a new day. I have cut out all of my curtain pieces and now I need to force them into their curtain form. So let's get to work. The sewing of the curtains was very straightforward. I needed to take out a couple of inches from the sides of the blackout curtains because it poked out a little too far from the edges of the sheets. Simple hems all around the raw edges of the sheets that were left. And I didn't even need to hem the top edge of the blackout curtain as it ended up getting tucked into the top of the curtain, which I just used the sheet material to make the little pocket that the rod would go through. And with the curtain sewn, I just needed to hang the rod. I began by measuring and marking where each of the brackets would go, and then I unwrapped my curtain rod, which is a gold color, and it is the Stylewell brand.
The kit came with self-drilling anchors, which were a very soft plastic, so I found it was best to drill the hole first and use a screwdriver. And here are the curtains in this increasingly Pokemon-themed bedroom. And now for a bit of silliness.
Hello and welcome to my new course, Window Treatments for the Stepford Home. Today we are going to learn how to treat our windows. Rather than provide examples on a real window, we will be using the chalkboard. The main idea that we will be exploring throughout this course is that our windows ought to be treated like a king. And of course, all kings must wear a crown. For your window, this crown is the curtain rod. All kings need a crown of gold, so please do ensure that your curtain rod is gold in color, if not in metal. One mistake many people make in treating their windows is they do not provide their window with an adequately large crown. The next thing to keep in mind while treating your window as king is the robes that it will wear. I speak, of course, of the curtains themselves. If at all possible, a good Stepford home will have homemade curtains. But if not possible, you are responsible to ensure that the fit of your king's robes are perfect. Your window will look much more kingly when its robes are not quite, but almost brushing the floor beneath it. The next essential step in ensuring that your window is treated like a king, you must ensure its cleanliness. However, constant washing of your window will make your window feel uncomfortable or stressed. So always make sure that you approach your window in a demure, ladylike fashion. Always spray your window with a dainty application of window cleaner, like this. Next, approach your window with a cleaning cloth. In order to make your window feel most kingly, I suggest sacrificing one of your favorite dresses. Do not approach your window with any sort of aggression, but with dainty caresses. As you wipe at your window cleaner, massage your window. Massage it with smooth, even motions. Remember, it is by the mercy of your windows that you are able to look out upon the world and cast judgment upon your neighbors. A truly sovereign window will also demand heaps of gold. Thank you for attending this class of window treatment for the Stepford home. Goodbye!
I'm really sorry that the lighting is so bad right now, but I'm in a closet, so really what can we ask for? But the people who installed our window left us with what we needed to finish it up, and I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, let's get that done first. Here are the gaps around the edge of the window that I was going to be working on. The process was simple. I measured out the length of this vinyl stuff, scored the end, and then I was able to just snap it into pieces. Then I just had to cut off the adhesive backing. And then this stuff came with score lines along the length of it, so I just had to fold it along those score lines. And then with just a little bit more wiggling, it snapped right into pieces, which was pretty satisfying. And then the width of the entire piece was better suited to my window needs. And then I just cleaned off my window and stuck it on. After doing that with all 4 edges, I just filled in any extra gapping with this caulk. I was very proud of myself for cutting it at this little angle, but it didn't do a whole lot to mitigate the mess that tends to come with caulk. So I did still end up just swiping over it with my fingertip for a nice clean finish. I have this template that came with the blind in order to help me hang it, but you know what? I'm just going to try and figure it out myself. I want it to be like this as much as possible, just to make it as centered over the actual window because there's a little bit more of a gap here than here. So I'm going to put this one at about here. And yeah, just like that, I kind of eyeballed the placement of the brackets and then put them in there. And it worked, and nobody got hurt, and it's great. Ta-da! Next, I needed to figure out what the heck I wanted to put on the window shades. So I measured it, and then I brought those measurements up to my studio, and I drew a rectangle on my chalkboard. And then I stared at it, and I stared at it, and I looked at pictures on my phone, and I stared at it some more, and then I got started. My first attempt was a kind of elven archway inspired design with maybe some kind of a garden motif underneath it. Well, here's the first design. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So I'm gonna take a photo of it and try and make another design. If I hate that design, then I have this as a backup.
It's another new day, and it's time for me to try and make another new design and see how I like it. And hopefully I like something that I get up here and it ends up becoming the design for my window. So here goes. Originally, I was going to leave the chalkboard noises in this portion of the video, kind of like a little ASMR thing, but then I'm like, isn't chalkboard noises something that like really annoys some people? But maybe that's just nails on a chalkboard noises. I don't know. Comment down below, yes chalkboard or no chalkboard noises. Were you saved by whiteboards existing? I'm gonna leave one in here. Let me know what you think. Funnily, this is hilarious. This took me much less time to draw, and I like it a lot more than the other one. It just feels a lot more clear. I feel like I have a vision of what I want it to look like. So this is what I'm gonna go with. And so I just need to get to work. The blind was too large for me to paint it on my desk, so thankfully I was able to rig this up with some ABS panel that I had, and using binder clips, just clip it up there. During this first section, I was just sketching my design on there with the pencil, whilst periodically looking up at my chalkboard to reference my design. Because this window blind was going to go up in mine and my spouse's shared closet, this concept represents the two of us. The bird is a stylized crow because my husband's name means crow. And of course, my name is Melissa, which means honeybee. In the middle of this week, I ran to Walmart to pick up fabric medium so that I could use my acrylic paints for this project, but they didn't have any fabric medium, so I thought I would have to go to another more far away store. But then I remembered that I had picked up some fabric paint so that I could make a Trigun t-shirt for my niece last year for her birthday. And I had gotten this brand called Make Market from Michaels, and it has a bit of a shimmer to it, which works out great for the stained glass. It's also somewhat translucent, and it came in a pack of like 14. I wanted there to be a good amount of color variation, so I mixed the paint in smaller batches and then painted several segments at a time. I love the way that stained glass has a kind of streakiness to it, so I wasn't too worried about brush strokes while I was filling in. But I did try to make sure that my brush strokes were all going in the same direction. To represent the lead for the stained glass, I mixed the black fabric paint with a little bit of white acrylic paint. This gave me an opaque dark gray color, which I think worked out just perfectly.
there she is. That concludes this week's project, or this couple of projects. I am quite satisfied with the curtains in my son's bedroom. However, and this is where our critique comes in, because the lining curtain isn't as long as the sheet portion of the curtain, it does allow some light to leak in around the edges of the curtain. However, they do quite well in blocking out that excess light that we get in the summertime as the sun goes down later and later. I also like that they fit the theme of the room, and I like that my son loves them. This project is the next one in line to be critiqued. A couple of small things about this one is that some of the lines that go in between the various representations of panes of glass are just a little bit spotty. I think the issue was that there were places where the paint didn't get fully into the nooks of the fabric, but that's really not noticeable unless you're right up close to it looking at it. Funnily, I think that one of the things that sells this as stained glass is that bit of streakiness. So I wish there was just a bit more of that streakiness. Another thing about this design that I wish was a little bit better was that the crow gets a little bit lost because the colors of the crow are very similar to the colors in the background, whereas there is a lot of contrast in the bee that sets it apart from its background. I am really surprised at how well this worked out though. I really like how it looks. I get to see it in the evenings when I bring it down, and then it's so easy to just put away in the mornings so that I can get all of that lovely natural light. It really does a great job at filtering out a lot of that light from the outside so that I can barely see this window from my bed when I'm sleeping. So it definitely serves its purpose in that way. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you liked anything about that video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you would like to see more of what I do random projects like this. I do sewing projects, I do home improvement projects, and I guess this kind of counts as a home improvement project. It also kind of counts as an art project, which is another genre of things that I do on this channel. I do a lot of things. So if you'd like to follow along, please hit that subscribe button, and then I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Welcome to my channel. I have no idea if that is any good. Summer. Summer is coming. You must sew for it bespoke robe. Heat wave. Test.